Assalamualaikum dear students, hope you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. Welcome to NIEVS Home School. I am Sabreena, Haque, assistant teacher of science, National Ideal English Version School, Dearship. Dear students, today I am going to take a chemistry class for class 9 student on the based on chapter 2, and this is the part 2 of the chapter along with the CQ, that means creative question and its answer. So let us move for today's topic. Today we will start from melting and boiling. The process of transforming a solid matter into liquid means applying heat is called melting. This is the definition of melting, and after that this is the definition of melting point. Dear students, melting and not melting point is not the same thing. You have to remember this. That means at normal pressure, what is normal pressure? 1 atmospheric pressure is the normal pressure. The temperature at which the solid matter turns into liquid state is called the melting point of that solid. Dear students, the melting point of solid ice is 0 degree Celsius. Now the process of transforming the liquid matter into gaseous gas by means of heat is called boiling. This is the definition of boiling. Now come to next one. At normal atmospheric pressure, that means 1 atmospheric pressure, the temperature at which a liquid matter turns into gaseous state is called the boiling point of liquids. This is the definition of boiling point. And again I am saying boiling, the definition of boiling and definition of boiling point is not the same. And the boiling point of water, pure water, not only water, pure water is 100 degree centigrade. Now here is some task that you have to learn, that is experiment boiling point of liquid. If we take some sample of liquid like water, we have to apply heat. When we observe it is start vaporizing at 100 degree centigrade, and this is the boiling point of the liquid. Now come to next one, that is when heat is applied, the heat is used for boiling and melting does not change the temperature of the matter. It only transforms the state of the matter. Now come to experiment below, which tell you what happens if we apply heat on a solid to melt and then heat to more to boil it. Now come to next experiment. Dear students, this experiment is important for you because this is related to your creative question answer. That is, you have to take some ice cube in a beaker and heat it carefully, and we should keep watch and attach a thermometer throughout the process. And let's assume initial temperature is -40 degree Celsius. Look, this is the graph of applying heat on ice, and this graph you have to practice drawing because I have told this is the this graph is related to the question answer. And when we applying heat, the heat is increasing, and when it is reaches to the 0 degree Celsius, that time if we apply more heat, but heat will not increase up to the total portion of the ice is melt. That means when it reaches to 0 degree, it start to melt, and up to A to B, this is time for melting point line. This is the melting point line. Here we will found both solid ice and water. When it reaches to B, that means total ice turns into water, and then the temperature become rising, and when it is reaches to 100 degree centigrade, that time it start to boil. It is boiling water, that means it start to become gas. And from C to D, this is the boiling point line. That means in that line we will get both water and water vapor, but when it reaches to D, that means total water becomes vaporized, and again it start to raise the temperature. If you observe that AB and CD are straight line, because when it start to melt up to total ice melting, the temperature will not change, it will be static here, and here also same. From C to D it is a straight line, there will be no change of temperature up to total water become gaseous form or total water become vapor. That's why it is a straight line. When the total water become vapor, then the temperature start rising, and along with this graph you have to learn the description also of the graph. Now come to cooling graph, that you have to also learn and practice. Look, just opposite things when we will start, that means when it was vapor, it is we assume that this temperature is 140 degree. After cooling the vapor, when it reaches to 100 degree temperature, the vapor turns into water, and this is the boiling point line, and this turning into vapor turns into water. When it reaches here and it total water total vapor turns into water, and when we again cool the water, then the temperature comes down, and when it reaches to the 0 degree, that time the temperature will be stopped, temperature coming down stop here, and up to the total water become ice, and then after becoming ice, then the total water, then temperature comes down again. And this description also you have to learn along with the graph. Now come to distillation and sublimation. Distillation and sublimation, the process of heating a liquid and turning it into gas is called evaporation or vaporization. When the water from hot tea in a cup or in a teacup flies away, then that is the example of vaporization. That means when we apply heat into the liquid matter and it starts vaporized or gaseous form, it is vaporization. Again, if we cool that vapor, the vapor turns into liquid. This is called condensation. And for example, water vapor emits heat and turns into water, which condensation. The process of heating a liquid into vapor and then retrieving the liquid from the vapor by cooling is called distillation. Dear student, you may heard about the distilled water, which is used for making some medicine or mix up with some medicine. Is that distilled water is made up through the process of heating water become into the vapor, and by retrieving the water from the vapor is the distilled water. And here the distillation process give into short form, that is distillation is equal to vaporization plus condensation. If you get the question what is distillation, you have to write the definition from here. Along with the definition you have to write this portion also. Now the process in which heating a solid directly turns into turns that solid into gaseous substances instead of liquid is called sublimation. Dear students, some of the matter do not have any liquid phase. When we give heat to apply heat to that matter, that turns into gaseous directly, there is no liquid phase, that is known as sublimation. And there is camphor, then naphthalene, carbon dioxide, solid carbon dioxide, that means dry ice, iodine, ammonium chloride, that all are sublimated substances. If we apply heat on them, that time it will be directly turns into gaseous form of that matter. And again, if we cold them or if we cool them or retrieve heat from them, it will again become the solid substances, because there is no liquid phase of that substances. That's why they are known as sublimating substances. Sublimation, this process is known as sublimation, and the sublimating substances are known also as volatile substances. Volatile substances means non-stable substances. Now come for the exercise MCQ. What kind of action takes place when the tea is kept in a teacup? That means there will be diffusion. Tea is kept in the teacup, that will be, sorry students, this will be vaporization. Just now we have learned it. This will be vaporization. Now come to what will happens if to the particle when water vapor is condensated. The size will reduce, it will remain in movement, then will vibrate at the same position and energy will evolve. That means if we condensate the water vapor, that will be turns into water. That means the water vapor size will be reduced. That water vapor size will be reduced. Now come to next one, and which of the following picture is applicable for the sublimation? Dear students, C will be the picture for sublimation because there is no liquid phase. Now come for the question number 4, it will be 154. Now the melting point, if we observe the graph, the melting point, sorry, this will be only 54. The melting point of the graph start is 154, and then say next one, because here they start melt and Z is volatile substances. But here we are seeing the melting point, that means it turns into liquid, so it is not volatile substances. And A, B and C, D curve indicate the boiling and melting point line, and yes, it is the melting point line and it is the boiling point line. That means it is the melting point line and it is the boiling point line, and that's why the correct answer is 1 and 3. The correct answer is 1 and 3. Now come to next one. Which of the following has the highest rate of diffusion? Dear students, here carbon dioxide molecular mass is 44, the ammonia is 70, and here it is 36.5, and this is more than this or this. That means the answer will be B because it has less molecular mass. Now which thing has the less molecular mass? It has the highest diffusion rate. Now come to next one, that is which of the following can be sublimated? Iodine, edible salt, copper sulfate, soda ash. It will be iodine because it is a sublimable substances or volatile substances. Now come to next one, that is CQ number 1. There is given the mixture of iodine and edible salt, and there is a mixture of sand and glucose. First question is what is diffusion. Second question is when you open the gas cylinder used for cooking, which action will take place first, diffusion or effusion. The third question is if you increase the heat, which of the matter in the steam will vaporize first? Explain. Now come to last one. Can you separate the element of two mixture using the same process? Show the reasons of your answer. Now come to the answer. The process of spreading of solid, liquid and gaseous substances spontaneously and uniformly in a medium is called diffusion. The answer of B is the pressure of the ingredients of gas cylinder inside and the outside of the container are not the same. The pressure is greater inside the container when the molecules of gas comes out through the small pores into low pressure zone from a high pressure zone. Effusion happens due to application of pressure. The molecules present in the gas cylinder comes out through the small pores, and the spontaneous movement of block the pores of the cylinder. The bigger pore size, the more spontaneous the movement is. When the condition becomes absolutely pressureless, it becomes diffusion. That means when the gas comes out through the fine pore, it is effusion, and when it reaches to the room and it is sprayed the total room, that is diffusion. So in this case of gas cylinder, first effusion take place and then diffusion happens. Both things happen, but first effusion is take place. Now come to next one. The ingredients present in the stem are iodine, table salt, sand and glucose. Sand is silicon dioxide, and we know glucose is C6 H12O6. Among the ingredients, sodium chloride, silicon dioxide and glucose are heated. If they are first converted into liquid by melting, then to vapor, but when iodine is heated, it does not convert to liquid because it is a volatile substance. Rather, it convert to vapor directly of sublimation. If solid substances convert to gaseous substances due to application of heat and convert to solid directly due to cooling, then the substances is called volatile substances, and the process of is called sublimation. When the temperature is increased, iodine will be first to be vaporized among the ingredients present in the stem because of sublimation of iodine, and it will convert to vapor directly, avoiding the liquid phase. So when the temperature is increased, iodine will vaporize first. Now come for the last question answer. Observing the two figures shown in the stem, we can see that the separation of ingredients of the container A and B, container B by using the same method is impossible. In the container A, the mixture of iodine and table salt has to be separated by sublimation, and the mixture of sand and glucose has to be separated by filtration and vaporization method. In the container A, there is a mixture of iodine and table salt. When heat is applied, iodine is sublimated. The mixture of iodine and table salt is separated by sublimation. Sublimation reaction. So from the above discussion, we can say that the separation of ingredients of container A and container B by using the same method is impossible. Look, come to the next question. This is CQ2 and this is taken from your book activity task, and there they take a open glass pipe, and in the both sides are blocked with two cotton, and these two one cotton is soaked by hydrochloric acid solution, another is soaked by ammonium hydroxide solution, and here there is a white smoke after few times is created, that is ammonium chloride, and this is nearer to the hydrochloric acid. The distance from hydrochloric acid to the ammonium chloride, that is 40 centimeter, and distance of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide is 60 centimeter. Now come to the question. First question is what is effusion. Second one is why are melting point and boiling point differ from the same matter, and what kind of change is the process of the stem explained. Now come to last one. Why white smoke is produced at the end of A of the tube. Explain with logic. Now come to the answer. The passage of gases from a region of higher pressure to a region of lower pressure through fine pores is called effusion. Now come to answer of B. The temperature at which a pure substance turns into liquid state is from a solid state is called melting point. On the other hand, the temperature at which a pure substance turns into gaseous state from a liquid state is called boiling point. It is practically observed that the temperature at which kinetic energy of the particle of solid matter is equal to the intermolecular force of the particle, then the solid matter turns into liquid. And again, the temperature at which the kinetic energy of the particle is more than intermolecular force of the particle is called the boiling point. That is, for melting, kinetic energy and intermolecular energy force of particle must be equal, and for boiling, kinetic energy of the particle must be more than intermolecular force. Again, for more kinetic energy, more quantity of heat is required, and it is implies boiling requires more quantity of heat than melting. For all this, melting point and the boiling point of the same things is different. Now come to the answer of C. The process mentioned in the stem is a chemical process, and we know that change in which one or more substances completely less loses their existence, created one or more new substances with new properties called chemical change. According to STEM, hydrogen chloride gas from hydrochloric solution and ammonia gas from ammonium hydroxide solution get diffused within few moments, while white smoke filling up the tube. It is ammonium chloride and produced in the reaction between hydrogen chloride gas and ammonia gas are new substances with new property distinct from the property of ammonia and hydrogen chloride. So the reaction in the question surely a chemical reaction. Now come to next one, that is the in this method the mixture of tables, sorry students, this is the part of CQ1D. This is the part of CQ1D. It will be come here. Now come to the D here. According to the STEM, hydrogen chloride solution, hydrochloric solution is kept at the end A, and the ammonium hydroxide solution is kept at the end of the tube, and we know that the molecular mass of the concentrated hydrogen chloride is more than concentrated ammonia. So the rate of diffusion of concentrated ammonia is 1.3 times more than that of the rate of diffusion of concentrated hydrogen chloride. Again, since length of the tube is 100 centimeter, there is 40 centimeter diffused hydrogen chloride gas diffused 40 centimeter and ammonia gas diffused 60 centimeter. Hence, ammonia will diffuse to 60 centimeter from the end of B, whereas hydrogen chloride will be diffused to 40 centimeter from the end of A of the tube of 100 centimeter. Thus, the two gases will produce white smoke of ammonium chloride at their meeting point. From the above discussion, it can be said that the boiling, being greater the rate of diffusion of ammonia gas compared to the hydrogen chloride gas, ring of white smoke produced at the end of A, whereas hydrogen chloride solution takes the position. Now, dear students, this is the next question. That question is, a beaker containing some ice cubes is slowly heated with the passage of time. The changes in the state of ice are observed. Now come to first question, what is distillation? Second question is, what do you understand by diffusion and effusion? Presence of action of the stem on a graph sheet. And come to next one, that is what will happen if you replace the ice of the stem with the naphthalene. Analyze. Now come to answer. First one is, distillation is the process of converting liquid through the condensation after vaporization applying heat to liquid. After that you have to write like this: distillation is equal to condensation. Now come to next question answer. Diffusion, the tendency of solid, liquid and gas to spread spontaneously and uniformly in any medium is called diffusion. Now come to effusion, the passage of gases from a region of higher pressure to a region of low pressure through fine pores. It will be pore is called effusion. Now come to the answer of C. You have to draw this graph in your copy. This is given to your book, that is the given in page number 29. You will follow your textbook for drawing this, and this description also given to your book so nicely here. The assume temperature of the ice cube is 40 degree temperature and minus 40 degree temperature. When it reaches to 0 degree, that time it start melting, and AB line is the melting point line of ice, and after reaching B, the total amount of ice becomes water, and then if we apply more heat, and temperature will be rising, and when it reaches to 100 degrees Celsius, that time it starts boiling, and up to the total water become water vapor, the temperature will be stand on 100 degree, and the CD line is the boiling point line. There we will get both water and the water vapor together. After reaching the D, the total water becomes vapor, and the temperature will rise again. Now according to the heating curve of the ice, down above the temperature of ice was 40 degree minus 40 degrees Celsius at 0 degree at A, and the temperature of 0 degree Celsius. So from 0 to A it was the solid state, and again A to B is the ice becomes melt by absorbing heat from outside, and the remained in the both solid and liquid states, and temperature will be 0 degree centigrade and Celsius. From the B to C it was the comparatively liquid completely liquid state, and absorbing heat from outside, it temperature gradually increased from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius. Again C to D, temperature remained unchanged. During this time, liquid converted to the gaseous, absorbing the heat and vaporization, heat of vaporization. So C to D, the matter was in gaseous and liquid state. It will be in liquid and gas states of the temperature of 100 degree centigrade. This total answer you have to write from page number 29, that is given there so nicely, and the next question, that means question answer of D, will be your homework. That will be homework number 5. Dear students, your homework number 5 is CQ 3D. Dear students, I have finished my today's topic. Read the question answer and do your homework. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.